talking about worrying. So many things in our culture, so many things in our lives we worry about. We're worrying about our kids, worrying about our businesses, worrying about our health. And there's so many things that we are just so unsure about. And so we wanted to sort of take one particular class and talk about this particular issue because from here, from the worrying, so many things stem from this. And we want to sort of talk about this and see if we can clear some of the energies that are within all of us that have to do with worry. We want to explain what it is from an energetic perspective so that you could understand really what's going on. Some of the affirmations that I've looked at regarding worry. Worry is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but doesn't really get you anywhere. Worrying is worshiping the problem. 97% of the things you worry about never happen. Worry does not take away tomorrow's trouble. It takes away today's peace. And Leo Buscaglia said it very well. And he said that worry does not take away tomorrow's sorrow, but takes away today's joy. And one of my favorites is one from Abraham Hicks. And it says, worrying is using your imagination to create something you don't want. And so it is such a human thing. So let's talk about what worry is. Worry itself, from an energetic perspective, have three different other energies contained in it. One is fear. You're fearing something. The second is uncertainty. And the third is a negative perception of an outcome. And that's really one of the probably most important, is that we hardly worry at all when we look at our future in a very positive sense. We don't get that worry in there. But it starts off with having your mind go into the future for some reason, and it already has a story of how whatever you are doing or want to do, we have an idea of what that would mean. The one that is the most prevalent is our ability to look ahead and have a story of how whatever you want to do is going to work out. The thing is that the negative perception, if you think about it long enough, you will actually manifest it. And that's where we really have to be careful, because the worry starts the ball rolling to a place that we really don't want it to go. We look at a situation, whether we want to pass an exam, or whether we want our health to improve, or whether we want something to happen. And then our mind kicks in. And where we make the error is that we give our mind authority and we listen to what it makes up. Because that's what the mind does. The mind is not insight. It cannot tell you the various energies that will come up. And what story will your mind say? In our negative world, it is easier to think of something negative because it's a knee-jerk reaction. Even the news is based on negativity. But when the mind keeps going and draws a story, and we listen to it, it's not psychic. When you go to a medium, for instance, a psychic, you are not asking the person, what is your opinion of what my future is going to be like? It even sounds silly. What you're more interested in is, what reading are you getting from Spirit as to what my life is going to be like? So you're not actually interested at all in their opinion, their beliefs, or anything. You want to know what Spirit's saying. And what that person is doing is tapping into your energy, your spirit. It tells them what you need to know, and then it's relayed or translated back to you. That's what a reading is. It's like reading a book, but the book is facing outward. And what we sort of believe in time we want to turn that book around so you could read it yourself. So there will be less uncertainty when you can feel and see or hear or in some sensory way be able to pick up those insights and maybe have a medium just sort of confirm it the odd time. But you don't need another person to do it because we're teaching you how to do it yourself, working on different things. Worry is the thing that actually extinguishes a lot of the things that are going on. How are we harboring some of the negative energies? Well, the story is told of a lady that went to a doctor. And she says, "Doc, I need to go through a full test because I think I have cancer. And I'm worrying about it. I'm laid up awake at night so many times. I'm just worried sick about this. And I just want to know to make sure that I'm okay." So doctor says, "No problem." They do a full test, and the test come back negative. "Nope, you have no cancer, you're fine." Then a year later, she comes back to the doctor and says, "Still worried about what's happening with my health, and I really think I have cancer this time." So the doctor goes through another series of tests, and again, it comes back negative. And this happens for several years. 20 years later, she goes to the doctor, and the doctor says, "Your test results came back, and it is positive. You have cancer." And her response was, "You see, I told you." When we harbor something for so long, your body has no choice but to match the same energy in the energies that you're projecting. It's constant, and it is a self-fulfilling prophecy. So the worry, that's how it starts. It has those three energies in there of fear, uncertainty, and a negative perspective of how things are going. And the mind is doing it. And Spirit is so respectful, your Spirit is, that if the mind wants to take over and drive this bus, it will gladly step aside. You want to drive this bus? You can. And so that is the choice that you make. What is easier to do? Now, when we look at what encourages the mind, when we give the mind this authority, and that's what it is, you're giving the mind the authority that it will give you the insight. So when you worry, that's what you're actually doing. You're actually worried about something that you don't want, and it is constantly there. Is my business going to do okay? Is my health going to be okay? Rather than just tapping into your own energies and you'll get, yeah, everything's fine, and then you just take that for what it is and you move on. But a lot of people have a hard time doing that because they figure that either somebody in society that is deemed that they have whatever human certificates or diplomas or PhDs that they should know. And they do, and they know it from a physical level, but they don't know what's going on, the deeper part of you. And they can't measure worry. They can't measure the way you're trying to manifest something, because as long as it doesn't show up in an X-ray or in the blood test or whatever test that they're doing from a physical perspective, you're fine. They can't measure brain waves. They can't measure where your thoughts are. They can't measure what is the most dominant thing right now. Is it fear or is it love? And those are the two choices. Located on our Facebook page called Group Tuning Class with Tony. And until next time, namaste.